Hello, this is Jason with FOAS. I just wanted to go over the inspection process with the technicians. Basically, this here is your route sheet, and these are the different vehicles that you're working on. It has the RO number, the tag number, the customer's name, the model, the mileage, the service advisor, and the inspection status. And basically, when you get a new job assigned to you, you're gonna get a message up here. It'll pop up, and when it does, you click on that message, and that will be your new inspection, your new vehicle. Okay, so here's my message. We're going to click on that message. And there it says new inspection saved. We're going to click on the little book there. And here is our new inspection. New vehicle. It tells you the customer's name, address, RO number, tech name, service advisor. Basically, you scroll down, and this is your entire inspection right here. Now, the first thing I like to do, just to make it simpler, is to go ahead and green the rest. And then anytime you do that, you always have to hit Save Inspection. Okay, so now we can go down. This vehicle actually came in for an oil change, and everything in blue in this column is pre-sold items. Green is okay, yellow is needs attention soon, and red is needs attention now. So we're going to go over here to engine oil, line 13. We're going to click on blue because it's pre-approved, and this window will pop up. And we always have to have a findings and a corrections. So we're going to hit mileage driven service, and the easiest thing to do is to hit the add menu item button. And normally this list of menu items will be much longer depending on what your dealership sets up. And we're just going to click on oil change, click add part, and then click add selected findings. And here you can see where there's your finding, there's your correction, the time, and here's the part. So we'll go ahead and close that out. And this vehicle actually also came in for a trans flush. So we'll go over here to pre-sold transmission. Again, mileage driven service, add menu item, and we'll click on trans flush, add part, add selected finding, and there it is. Finding, correction, and there's your part. Go ahead and close that window out. And now the next thing I would do while I'm inspecting the vehicle is I would go ahead and send those two items to the parts department. Right here, send parts requests. That way you can get those parts getting pulled from the parts department. Hit a couple OK buttons. And that way, that message just got sent to the parts department so they can pull what they need to pull for your oil change and your trans flush. Now, let's say I'm checking this vehicle out. Make sure to always put your tire measurements in there. Let's say it's got 9/32 all the way around. Go ahead and put that in. Anytime you put tire measurements or brake measurements in, you always have to hit Save Inspection. Otherwise you will lose it. Let's come down here and put our brake measurements in. 2 and 7. Again, hit Save Inspection. Now you notice I put 2 millimeters for the front brakes, so we're going to go ahead and recommend brakes. We're going to put that in the red. We're going to click, you always have to have a findings and a correction, so click on found brake pads worn, and then we're going to click on replace front brake pads and rotors and put your time in there. Let's say it pays 2.0, and then we're going to hit add selected findings, Now anytime any one of these corrections has an asterisk next to it, it's going to automatically add the part for you. Let's say you had a caliper binding, and you want to type in, if you don't see what you need on the corrections menu right here, type in anything you want. Replace left front caliper. Let's put it at 1.0. Add selected finding. Now you notice it did not put a part in there because there was no asterisk next to it. So all we have to do is add parts. This window pops up. 1 for quantity. Left front caliper. And maybe 1 brake fluid. Create request. And you can see that now it added the parts for me. Caliper, brake fluid, and there's your brake pads. 2 different finding and corrections. You can have as many as you want. Go ahead and close that out. And if you're done with the inspection, you can go ahead and send those 2 items to the parts department. Send parts request. Hit OK. And that will go to the parts department. Whenever you have a message up here, make sure you always check it, because it's either parts pulled or a message from the service advisor or a new job or something of that nature. Here we have a message from the service advisor, so we're going to go ahead and check that. Jay, he just called. Please make sure to set tire pressure to 32 psi. That's his preference. Thanks. Okay. So we're going to go down here and make sure we check our tire pressures, put them at 32, and put it in the box. And remember to hit save. Save inspection. And now we're just waiting for the parts department to look up the parts prices and availability. Okay, so now you can see I have 2 more messages. Click on the messages. We have parts quoted and parts pulled. Parts quoted is going to be for our brake pads, and caliper. And then the other message is going to be the parts pulled for the pre-sold items, the trans flush and the oil change. Now before I send it to the advisor, I always like to see review parts request. I like to see where my parts are coming from and to make sure they're priced correctly. So we can scroll down and you can see the front brake pads, part number, quantity, and the price, and the availability is on hand. And then we got the caliper and the brake fluid, and there's a price on the brake fluid and the caliper. So we can go ahead and go back to inspection. And if you're all done with this inspection and you're ready to send it to the service advisor so we can call the customer, we're going to go ahead and hit send findings and recs, hit OK, and that'll bring us back to the route sheet. So now once we're back to our route sheet, you can see that I have 4 vehicles that are waiting for authorization. Each color and the status means a different thing. Orange is waiting for parts, light blue is approved, and yellow just means I'm inspecting the vehicle. So right now all we can do is wait for the approval from the service advisor and move on to something else. One more thing I wanted to show you is the history log. If you ever want to look at a past inspection, you can type in this box up here the customer's name or the RO number or the tag number or the VIN number, and you can pull up past inspections and review previous inspections you've done on previous vehicles. Comes in pretty handy. You will use it a lot. Another thing I wanted to touch on is the notes portion of the inspection, which you will use a lot. you can communicate with the service advisor, with the warranty clerk, the dispatcher, or the parts department, and even the customer if they are opted in. Okay, so now we're just waiting for the approval from the service advisor to get the approval from the customer. Looks like we got another message here. Click on that. Looks like we got an approval from the service advisor. Click on the little book. And that'll take us to our estimate approval sheet. And you can see that the oil change is approved, trans flush approved, front brake pads approved, and the caliper is approved. So we can go ahead and close that out. Back to inspection. Now when the service advisor sent that approval to the technician, it also went to the parts department telling them they can go ahead and pull the parts. And once the parts department pulls the parts, I'll get another message up here. Click on it and it'll say parts pulled. Alright, now keep in mind if the customer is opted in for text messaging, there will be a box here for customer, and that way you can text the customer, or you can the service advisor can text the customer, or even the parts department. So looks like we got a message here from somebody. Let's check it out. We got a note added from the parts department. It said pads and fluid are pulled. Caliper will be picked up first run today. And so now our status is waiting for parts because we're waiting for that caliper. But the rest of our parts are pulled and on the parts counter waiting for us. So basically that's about it as far as the technician portion of FOAS. You can go back to your route sheet and you can see that that one's in inspection mode. We have waiting for authorization, waiting for parts on 2 of them, and one's approved. So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple to use, pretty user friendly.